Enough of stuffing up the country. Let's get back to how Anthony Albanese is delivering world peace. The most sickening thing about his morally repugnant move to recognise the non-existent state of Palestine, even while Hamas is still fighting Israel and still holding Israeli hostages, was the fact that it rewarded Hamas for the October the 7th atrocities. And I made that point on Monday when it was announced. What Anthony Albanese has done today shames our nation and it imperils us. This rewards terrorism. And anyone who understands the situation came to the same conclusion, as was made clear by some dramatic newspaper headlines and reaction here and around the world.
This is rewarding terrorists. This is a reward to Hamas for what they started on October 7.
Well, if I'm Hamas, I basically conclude, let's not do a ceasefire. Right. Because we can be rewarded and we can claim it as a victory.
To recognise unilaterally a Palestinian state does one thing for the terrorists. It rewards them and it emboldens them.
Yeah, but our Prime Minister, well, he reckoned he knew better.
Hamas is a terrorist organisation. It has no role to play. And Hamas, I've seen some of the comments that have been made about Hamas somehow being rewarded. Hamas is opposed to two states. This is the opposite of what Hamas wants.
Really? Albo tried to argue this was no reward. He has no idea what he's doing on this issue, does he? And as I've demonstrated time and again, and he showed that time and again by pretending his capitulation would be opposed by Hamas.
Well, we're opposed to Hamas. Hamas can play no role. And what Mr Sharma knows full well but didn't say is that Hamas will be totally opposed to this decision. Hamas don't support two states. They support one state. In their own words, from the river to the sea, from the Jordan River to the ocean.
Not only is he clueless about which sea or ocean he's talking about, the PM was actually trying to say that the terrorists would oppose the way he's taken up their rhetoric and demonised Israel. Well, his ineptitude and dangerous diplomacy was exposed for all to see today when Hamas released a statement to the 9 media newspapers praising Albanese's decision. The Islamist extremist terror group's co-founder, Hassan Yousef, welcomed Australia's recognition of Palestine as an important step in securing justice for his people. He said it reflected political courage and commitment to values of self-determination. And crucially, the Hamas leader said the move by Australia, the UK, France and Canada had come about because of the escalation of armed resistance, he called it, including the operations carried out on October the 7th and the way they significantly contributed to highlighting the suffering of the Palestinian people. What sickening words these are. This is exactly why I've called Albanese's decision morally repugnant and so diplomatically dangerous. This not only rewards terrorism, it encourages it. Hamas terrorists went from Gaza into the homes of Israeli families and they shot little boys and girls dead. They butchered parents in front of their children. They burned people alive and they marauded through a music festival, murdering young men and women, raping them and taking them hostage. They took babies as hostages and women and girls and the elderly, and they tortured, raped and butchered them, and they still hold 50 hostages, 30 as dead bodies, 20 alive. And these people now praise Australia's Prime Minister because he's given them what they wanted, even though Albo tried to pretend that wasn't the case. As I told you earlier this week, the facts were clear. In fact, this gives Hamas exactly what it wanted when it slaughtered families, raped women, massacred innocent children, defiled bodies, and took hostages 22 long months ago. And when I say it gives Hamas exactly what it wanted, I don't mean recognition of a Palestinian state, of course. That's not what Hamas wants. Hamas wants the demonisation of Israel. Yep, And that's what Albanese has given them. Look, this stuff is just terrible. It's terrible for our country, terrible for the people of Israel and the people of the Palestinian territories. And it's terrible for Australia's standing in the world and our crucial US alliance. Just remind yourself that the current terrorism alert in this country is at probable. Yep, a terrorism attack in this country at present is listed by our security agencies as probable. And yet our own Prime Minister has given a reward, effectively given encouragement to the murderous tactics of one of the world's most bloodthirsty Islamist terrorism groups. How could a political leader be so unwise?
The endorsement of his decision by a listed terrorist organisation is exactly the reason the coalition has opposed it and would revoke it in government. Now, Prime Minister, if you've got a listed terrorist organisation cheering on your foreign policy, it might be time to admit that you got it wrong.
Yeah, this is a disastrous decision by Labor, but tragically, I fear they won't have the courage to reverse it.